Whoa. Wah! Hell yeah, dude. Arc Raiders is a truly phenomenal game. I didn't think I'd be telling anyone that a third-person extraction shooter was my favorite game of 2025, but here I am telling you that this game is stupidly good. Delete your preconceived notions about what an extraction shooter is when judging Arc Raiders. And while I am a lifelong FPS fan, I don't tend to like extraction shooters that much, but I can't stop playing this one. Exploring a dystopian future Earth covered with murderous robots that are a genuine threat and often end up being a third party in PvP engagements is just a wild vibe. There's so much running away out of genuine fear of getting murdered by giant robots in this game, and I absolutely love it. Not even some of my favorite survival games like Stalker have made me respect the environmental threats as much as Arc Raiders does. Getting spotted by a scout robot might not get you killed right away, but the attention it attracts can bring other raiders around, and it ends up becoming a death sentence. And the combination of the PvE and PvP in this game has never been done better. In fact, Arc Raiders does a lot of things better than I've seen any other game do. I can say with confidence that this game has the best, most engaging, and realistic AI enemies that I've ever experienced in a multiplayer title. Maybe even single player for that matter. And apparently they were trained with AI learning systems to learn how to walk even and adapt to challenges in-engine. It's just crazy how much more intelligent the AI feel compared to the simplistic rule sets of enemies in just about any other game. I can also say that Arc Raiders has the best sound design that I've ever heard, from the wind rustling in the trees, bullets cracking past your character from a near-miss sniper shot, or the distant wail of a massive robot. The audio design is so good that you're going to notice just how lacking it is in other games. Embark has really raised the bar across the board, and everyone else is going to need to step it up to compete. The soundtrack is also awesome and complements the gameplay perfectly. It's actually one of the few high-skill based experiences that I don't turn the music down for. Its art design and graphics are also industry leading. I believe they actually used a lot of photogrammetry to scan real-world foliage and rocks and debris to create environments that feel truly real. Each map feels incredibly authentic and also quite different in its design and gameplay. Now granted, the lighting quality in Arc Raiders has been lowered since the first playtest, and we can talk about some of the visual issues a bit later in the video. The character animation in this game is also amazing. With the amount of scrambling, dodging, and leaping around you have to do, the third-person animations always look rock solid. And the moment-to-moment gameplay is simply superb, from running solo and skulking around and searching rooms, to having dynamic team-ups with other players, to teaming up in trios and getting into crazy firefights with other teams, or downing massive arc robots together. Everything is challenging, visceral, and rewards those who plan well and play smart. There's all kinds of fun gadgets, from simple smoke grenades to zip lines to proximity mines, and even grenades that will call in arc at an enemy player's location. These gadgets really tend to mix up gunfights in awesome ways that I wasn't expecting, and it seems like people are discovering new tactics constantly. The overall style and world crafting is also top tier, with an awesome retro vibe, as if the apocalypse happened in the 1970s and we all just have to work with that level of technology to fight mega robots. Now, the menu and crafting systems are, well, they're pretty bad, but it is forgivable, and we'll talk about some of the things that Arc Raiders can do better later in this video. Now, I'd like to mention at this point, after gushing about Arc for so long, that I did make some sponsored videos about Arc Raiders in the past. I have made plenty of non-sponsored Arc videos as well, and this review is not sponsored, but just keep that in mind for transparency's sake. Now, honestly, I think one of the worst things about Arc Raiders is just trying to explain to other people why it's good. On paper, it really is just another extraction shooter, a genre that is well established as having a very sweaty and punishing gameplay loop that it doesn't really appeal to many people. It's got third-person peeking, a lengthy progression and quest system, and you stockpile items for your next raid, which can all be lost if somebody gets a cheesy gank on you. Those reasons alone are why I wasn't particularly hyped to play Arc in the first place. I don't typically gravitate towards extraction shooters. I appreciate them, especially games like Hunt Showdown that are so stylistically cool, but I also get incredibly frustrated with the campy and excessively punishing gameplay, and they just don't end up holding my attention for long. However, Arc Raiders is a different beast. It began development with the goal of being a PvE only game, and later in development they decided to turn it into a PvPvE game. And I think because of where they began and that they really wanted a collaborative experience first and foremost, it's become one of the more casual, friendly extraction games that I've ever played, which means it's more inviting to players who are not necessarily looking for a sweaty, all-or-nothing, heart-pounding experience. You can still get those moments, but if you're trying to avoid them, it's not that hard to do. Especially in solos, so many people are looking to group up and run missions together, and it's even encouraged with a "let's team up" emote built into the game.
Team up?
And once you have a friend in solos, it's far more challenging for another player to gank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Be right behind me and everything.
Yeah, you would have been dead.
Now, will the friendliness of this game last once more players are higher ranked, they're not really XP farming as much anymore, and the casual players start to become more sweaty and greedy? Well, it's hard to say. I'm sure the climate will evolve over time, as other extraction shooters have shown this to be the case, but I don't see Ark becoming as hardcore as other games on the market. And in my opinion, that is a very good thing. So what I'm trying to say in a fairly roundabout, long-winded way is that just because Ark Raiders is technically an extraction shooter, and if you typically don't like extraction shooters, don't hold that against it, or you may miss out on one of the greatest multiplayer experiences of the year. If Ark Raiders was the first ever extraction shooter, I think this genre would have developed a different reputation. Now, the devs at Embark have also done a great job of regulating the power creep. What I mean is that if you get into a match with all of the best gear in the game, well, don't expect to win all your firefights. Heck, don't even expect to win your first firefight. Better gear is better, but the starting common cheapo weapons can absolutely hold their own, and if somebody gets the upper hand on you or outplays you, they're gonna beat you, even if they've got a common weapon and you've got an epic tier 1. This makes it incredibly easy for new players to get in and not feel outgunned, and even with so many hours into the game already, I still find it really fun to jump in and use a free kit, which just gives you a level 1 common weapon, and you can often drop in with the worst gear and sometimes extract with some of the best gear. Now, the progression system does a great job of keeping you engaged. There is a skill tree with over 75 levels of progression, a lengthy mission system, crafting systems to upgrade, daily quests, weekly challenges, timed events that will change up maps, like changing the time of day or the weather. You can also have maps that open up secret bunkers, and there's even a prestige style system called projects that'll eventually let you do a whole character reset for some account perks. And they also have some new enemy types and maps releasing in the very near future, which I imagine will keep everything feeling fresh for quite some time. Now, I could endlessly gush about how good this game is. There's so many details to get into and so many things that Ark Raiders does fantastically, but it's also worth mentioning that this is far from a flawless game. Let's talk about some of the weak spots and then some of the things that are just straight up bad. Now, as much as I appreciate Ark Raiders for having a lengthy mission system that'll keep you busy for quite a long time, well, the missions themselves are pretty darn boring. They serve their purpose in that they get you to go out and explore different areas of maps, and they build up a little bit of the backstory about what might be happening at each location, but the gameplay of the missions themselves almost always revolves around going to a place and then holding E to do a thing. It's pretty much that for like 90% of the mission requirements. It's usually go somewhere, look for the thing, once you find the thing, press E on the thing, and that's the mission. Which is fine for the first 20 hours, but towards the end of this mission system, you're gonna be getting pretty bored with it. And if prestiging your account and resetting everything means that you're gonna be rerunning these same missions over and over again, well, that could get double boring. Now, the cosmetics in Ark Raiders do look fantastic. Embark has really shown their hand here with the finals, making some of the best cosmetics I've seen in a video game. You can earn some of these cosmetics as you play, which is nice, but many of them are locked behind a pay system, which, to be honest, I'm absolutely fine with. You do have to monetize a live service game for it to exist, and I'd rather that they monetize cool cosmetics and not inject any sort of pay-to-win mechanics. That said, I do think that Embark missed out on some cosmetics cosmetic mixing and matching. This game is drenched in style, but you don't have a lot of good ways to show off your own character style or evolution other than just picking a preset look. Everything is just a single outfit and color choice. You can mix and match backpacks, I guess, and choose whether or not you want to have headgear or not, but otherwise there's not a lot of mixing and matching and coming up with your own custom look. I think Ark missed out on a big opportunity to give players a lot of creative freedom in how they look. Instead, we're all just wearing the same costumes, and it can be a bit awkward, especially when you party up with people wearing the exact same outfit as you, which tends to happen quite a bit actually. Now, it's not too late for Embark to remedy this, and I could see them pivoting to some more mixing and matching options down the road, so hopefully they can improve upon this. Alright, let's talk about the worst part of Ark Raiders, which seems to be a unanimous sentiment across the community, and that is the inventory and crafting system. And while the ideas behind crafting in this game are fine in my opinion, it's the actual process of hoarding resources and going to the different crafting benches and traders to set up the gear that you need for your next round. You're constantly running out of inventory space and having to sell and break down items that you're not sure if you still need. Even if you max out your stash size, which takes a lot of money and time, it still gets used up right away. I spend way more of my time in Ark Raiders getting my inventory sorted and sold and recycled and crafted than I want to be. It's become an absolute chore. It delays the time in between matches, especially when playing with friends. It's really annoying to wait for everybody to craft up all the gear that they need and get everything ready to go. And I've heard just about everyone rant about how cumbersome this system is. The UI absolutely does not help with having to constantly switch between menus and benches and traders just to craft a gun and a magazine or some healing bandages. It just sucks and it could easily be better. I hope this is a system that they're looking at improving. The community has already made some very good suggestions on how to make it quicker and easier and more approachable. Now, the skill tree in Ark Raiders is also very problematic. At this point, there's a ton of videos on YouTube explaining the pitfalls of the skill system and what skills to put points into and which ones to avoid, but if you're just getting into the game and opening that skill tree, well, the usefulness of the skills and the descriptions are extremely vague, often misleading, and there's just simply a lot of skills that don't make any sense and I can't see ever recommending anyone to use. On top of that, I'm pretty comfortable saying that there's practically only one best way to max out your skill tree, which sucks because that's kind of the last thing you want with a skill tree with a lot of different options and pathing to go, is to force everyone down the exact same path. But there you have it. You're not going to really run into players that are super specialized in supporting skills or solo skills or scouting or whatever. It's kind of just generally a best path for everyone, and you all just end up being basically the same by the time you get to the end of your skill progression. And some of the crappy skills are just absolutely bizarre. Like, there's a lot of melee strike skills, but against things like wasps and turrets, which are things that you would almost never melee strike anyway. So it's just weird what some of the actual skills are and what the thinking was behind some of them. Now, I truly love the PvP experience in this game. It's really fun. The environment, the tactics, the running away and flanking, there's so much to love about it. But the netcode is pretty damn bad. The amount of times you're going to get shot around corners or die to Peeker's advantage, where you can literally get shot from somebody that you see for a fraction of a second, is a really big issue. It can absolutely decide the fate of a firefight, and it's not always up to user error or a skill issue. Sometimes you just really get screwed by the netcode. I haven't seen any solid theories as to why it's so bad. Some people have reported that the servers are running as slow as 3 ticks per second, which I think would be insane and maybe isn't even possible for a lot of mechanics in this game. But there's definitely something wrong, and there's a lot of work to be done here to try and elicit a more fair experience because, well, it's a pretty important part of this game. You have to have good netcode if you're going to have PvP combat. Now, some of the events and game modes aren't particularly well thought out and easily gankable by extract campers. Not a massive issue at the moment, but just a few modes that are kind of easily and obviously exploitable, like the new bunker mission that they just added. There's just a lot of extract campers and it kind of ruins the experience. Now, the graphics in Ark Raiders are amazing. It truly is a work of art and a game that has breathtaking views all the time. Not to mention it delivers these graphics with an incredible frame rate. I'm easily able to play at 4K with maxed out visual settings and get well over 100 FPS. But they definitely toned down some of the lighting quality from the first playtest, which had building interiors looking stunning, and now they just look good. This was done to ensure performance and visual parity across systems, which I can agree with. You don't want console players seeing all the dark rooms easily with PC players seeing pitch black. That would not be a fair or enjoyable experience. However, they still have the problem of if you set the graphics settings to low, it actually gives you a huge advantage in spotting other players among things like foliage. Bushes, rocks, trees, that kind of stuff will start to disappear at a closer distance, and players on low settings will be able to see and spot enemies from further away. It's a bit of a problem, and this is one of those games that I would expect the devs to really care about visual parity so that you can run the game on high settings without having to worry about being at a graphics disadvantage. Now, beyond some of the problem points with this game, I'm sure there's going to be a few other growing pains left for the devs to sort out, but Arc Raiders has hit the ground running, and it's been a very good experience from day one. I haven't been this hopelessly addicted to a game in a long time. It's really impressed myself and a lot of other gaming friends that I have who have just played so many video games and aren't easily excited by games. Arc Raiders has got them excited. It's just got that secret sauce. It's an extraction shooter masterpiece, and it really shows just how good this genre can be when you're willing to change up the rules and do things like incentivizing teamwork against an extremely lethal arc enemy. I'm so excited for the upcoming roadmap and the new maps that they're releasing and the new arc that they're working on. Each map seems to have a very different vibe and playstyle to it, making each one really exciting and fun to switch between. I think if the devs can really lock in, do a few quality of life updates, and keep the content stream coming, Arc Raiders could be an epic game for a long time. Anyway, that wraps it up for my review of Arc Raiders. I'd be really curious to know what you guys think about extraction shooters in general, and if that's changing your opinion about whether or not to play Arc Raiders, just because it is an extraction shooter. That was definitely a big hesitant moment for me, but because I got into the beta and the playtest, I was able to see that I really enjoyed the game, and it sort of convinced me that not all extraction shooters are the same, and Arc, in my opinion, definitely stands out from the crowd. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to drop me a like, subscribe for more content like it, and if you're getting into the game, be sure to check out my ultimate guide for Arc Raiders. It covers everything from beginning to advanced strategy. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.